One day after the federal finance minister unveiled the Liberal government's budget in the House of Commons, opinions are mixed whether it is good for Canadians. Now, if the budget doesn't pass, it could trigger another federal election. Quinn Keenan has local reaction.
To weather the storm of uncertainty, we will not lower our sails, Mr. Speaker. Quite the opposite. We will raise them to catch the winds of economic change, because we believe in Canada.
The Liberal government has added $90 billion in new spending, set to increase the deficit to $78 billion this fiscal year. It features billions more for national defense infrastructure and may remove the emissions cap. Billions more are being offered as tax incentives for Canadian companies to build new facilities. But the government of Alberta is looking for more details on what this means for the province.
There was no, clarity around an Alberta-focused major project, but I also need to reference that those conversations are still being had, so that's a little bit of a wait and see.
Lethbridge Conservative MP Rachel Thomas has come out against the budget. She says the billions in extra spending will harm Canadians. The MP released a statement that reads, "The Liberals are spending way beyond Canada's means. Each dollar the Liberal government spends comes out of the pocket of Canadian workers, families, and seniors." It could still prove to be a beneficial budget for Southern Alberta. Funding has been earmarked to improve trade corridors, rail infrastructure, and diversify trade partnerships. It's big news for a region heavily invested in agriculture and manufacturing.
$5 billion trade diversification fund that specifically mentions things like rail line expansion from Alberta to market. And that's really about helping Southern Alberta move our ag and manufacturing projects more efficiently to global markets as Canada looks for investments in markets that might be a bit more reliable than we're experiencing closer to home.
The budget has received criticism on housing. It's increased funding for affordable housing through the Build Canada Homes program, but there's no significant changes for market rate homes.
It had some great stuff in it for affordability and social housing and homelessness, which is great with the Build Canada Fund. We like to see that. That's important. But if we're going to capture that deficit we have in housing, that really only accounts for 1% of the housing.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
In response to the budget, Lethbridge Mayor Blaine Higgins says it'll take some time to review the entire scope of the budget, including discussions with our Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer to see the full impact. As always, City Council will continue to advocate for the supports and needs we need in our city to best serve our residents. He says it's encouraging to see money for infrastructure and home building and is hopeful that the city will be considered for a fair share of that funding.